Hi everyone. This presentation is going to be on professionalism before you enter the workforce and then after you enter the workforce. So what is professionalism? Professionalism is the conduct, behavior, and attitude of someone in a work or business environment. A person does not have to work in a specific profession to demonstrate the important qualities and characteristics of a professional. So before you start your job search, your online presence is the first impression of your professionalism. Around 70% of employers use social media to screen candidates before hiring, and that can do with Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, any type of social media you use. You want to make sure that all your accounts are private. While you're using those accounts, you don't want to badmouth past or current employees, and you want to make sure that you even don't badmouth what you're doing in your current position, because if you're doing an important task or something in that situation, you want to make sure you're not badmouthing it if it's related to the position that you're applying for in the future. You want to make sure the content is very appropriate and have a strong LinkedIn presence so you can start building your professional network. Lastly, research the company before you go in so you're prepared when they ask you questions. If they're asking you specific questions about their company, why you like the company, you want to make sure that you're prepared. When it comes to emailing an employer for a position, on the right, there's two examples. The top one is when you reach out to them, sending the cover letter and resume, and then the bottom one is when you're reaching out to them for an interview. So when you're applying, sometimes you can apply through the website or they'll say to email them for a specific contact person, and make sure you read what is requested, because if they just want a resume, make sure you just send a resume. But sometimes they also want a cover letter and a resume. So on the top right, you introduce yourself and then you say, I have attached my resume and cover letter for the position, whatever position you're applying for. I'm excited for this opportunity and I hope I'm considered for the position. So you want to make it very brief, write a sentence or two, and also ask any questions that you might have about the position or the company in general to start the conversation. Next is if you pass that phase and you go through and they want to invite you in for an interview, make sure you're very concrete with your availability. You want to mention a date, the day you can come in, and the time, so it's not back and forth, them trying to figure out when you can come in, because that is also very unprofessional. So emailing is the first impression with the employer, because you want to make sure you're addressing them appropriately, check grammar and spelling, and it's very important to have a signature in your email. To set up your email signature, you want to go to settings with whatever email you use, select email signature, or there's an option where you can search it. For your email signature, you want to put in your name, you want to put in the university that you're at, when you're graduating, and then also your major or what department you're in, and then your email, and also your phone number. For mine, right currently I have my name, I have the university, I have when I'm graduating, my program, and I also put at the time when I was an intern, I put my position for that intern and then my phone number. But since I'm not working there anymore, I just took away human resources intern, I just left my phone number. But it's very important to put that because it explains a little bit about yourself and it also looks very professional. When it comes to communicating in the workplace, you want to make sure you know who you're speaking to and how to address them. If it's a superior, if it's an executive person in a C-suite position, you want to make sure that you address them appropriately. When you use appropriate conversation in the workplace, you want to make sure you're not talking like you're at a restaurant or hanging out with your friends, and have appropriate body language when you're sitting at your desk, while you're in the break room. It just shows how professional you are. So texting employers slash your voicemail box. Having your voicemail box set up and make sure it's empty, because when leaving a voicemail, you want to make sure that you state your name, why you're calling, and provide your contact information. So it is very important to have your mailbox set up, because when employers call, they want to make sure that they're calling the right person. And also, I would definitely get rid of any voicemails that you've had from a few years ago, and also make sure your mailbox is empty so that they're able to leave you a message. So when you leave them a voicemail, you want to make sure you state your name, why you're calling, and provide your contact information, whether it's a phone number or an email. Make sure you state that at the end after you're calling them. For interviewing attire, for women, there's do's and don'ts on the left, and then do's and don'ts for men on the right. Women, you want to make sure that jewelry is in moderation, that you can either wear a dress, you can also wear a blouse with a cardigan or a blazer, dress pants. If you're wearing heels, make sure it's small heel or flat. And if you're wearing a skirt, make sure it's knee length. And then for guys, you want to make sure that you're wearing dress pants, a tie with your shirt. Bring a blazer. You can always take it off while you're in the interview, while if it's too warm in there, but I would definitely suggest bringing one so then you can take it off. And then also very nice dress shoes. I wouldn't come in with wearing sweater or khakis because that looks very unprofessional. So some interviewing tips is do not chew any gum or candy or eat any food. Always arrive early. Greet everyone professionally, especially the secretary or administrative staff in the beginning because that shows the first contact you have, which is very professional. You want to make sure you have a portfolio with your resume, notepad and pen to take any notes or to write anything down that they mention. Do not interrupt them while they're speaking and do not say anything negative about past supervisors, and especially make sure your phone is off. After the interview, definitely put a thank you email. And you want to send the email within a day or two. I usually think at the end of the day, if you have the interview during the beginning of the day, you want to include things that you talked about in the interview. And if you met with more than one person, email them separately. And on the left here is the example of a thank you email, basically thanking them for their time and then also what they discussed during the interview and what they thought was important in the interview. And then at the end, they put their contact information with their email signature. So this is a very good email template to follow. Next, networking. More than 70% of people get their jobs through networking. They go to events held on campus with employers, meet and talk to professors and faculty, and also talk to your family and friends about their network and the people they work with. Networking is very simple. You just have to make that first move and reach out to people to get those connections. When you do network with people, if you're going to a specific event, career fair, or meeting people, I think it's very smart to have a business card that has your name on it, where you go to school, your email, and other information. You want to dress business professional. And depending on the networking events, you might want to have copies of your resume as well. But a business card is great. It's very simple to connect with employers, to reach out and have them contact you. Next is your elevator pitch. So this is something you want to talk to about with employers. It's just a very quick synopsis of your background and your experience, and it's all about you. It's who you are, what you do, and what you want to do. It should be around 30 to 60 seconds. It shouldn't be long. It should be persuasive. Mention your goals. Know who you're speaking to. Be flexible. And most importantly, practice. You don't want to speak fast, ramble, frown, or speak in monotone. And you want to make sure that you're being, again, persuasive because you're trying to land that job or land that connection. Here are some examples of elevator pitches. On the left, we have one from a student attending a university, and same thing on the right. They're just formatted very differently, and I think these are very good examples showing what they're interested in, their skills, and what they want to pursue. Next is an activity you can try on your own by creating your own elevator pitch for a position you're interested in. So imagine you're speaking to an employer at an event and that you would like to work for. So you can write it down, and since we're not in an actual workshop, you can practice it with your family members, your friends over Zoom if you would like, or you can practice in the mirror or just reading it out loud because it's very important to practice to get it down. Next, we're going to go into professionalism once you're in the workforce. So you want to make sure that when you're talking to people, that you seem committed towards your work and that you're confident. You want to seem responsible and dependable. You want to make sure you have good ethics and that you're honest. And then your appearance shows that you're professional. So with commitment and confidence, you want to make sure you go in there showing your other employers and your coworkers that you're there and you're ready to do your job. You're responsible and you're ready to take things on. You follow their policies, their protocols, and also for your appearance, however they dress in the office, you want to make sure that you appear professional. Here are some different levels of dress code attire because many companies have different forms of business professional. There's casual, which would be the picture on the top with all the four people standing. You notice how she's in jeans or she's wearing a cardigan. The guy's just wearing a t-shirt, and that looks like also just some type of slacks with, I guess, flats and some sneakers. Business casual would be the picture all the way on the right with the woman in the blue and the guy in the cream color top. It is business casual because they still have the business pants on, business shoes, but the top's a little more relaxed with just a simple sweater cardigan for the girl, and the guy's just wearing a sweater over his shirt. And then business formal, it's kind of like when you dress up for an interview, but also too, I would definitely say when you go in, ask your supervisor, what's the dress attire? How do people dress here? And also take a week or two to see how people are dressing, and then definitely change the way you're dressing based on that. The first day you should go in dressing business professional, just like you're going for an interview, and then after that, you'll see what everyone else is doing and ask people what they're wearing. In the workplace, when it comes to social media and phone use, just try not to browse on your phone a lot. Try using social media during your break time. So don't use any social media on your phone or company computer unless that's your actual job. If you're doing advertising or marketing, keep phone usage to a minimum unless it's an emergency, and try using your phone mainly during a break or on lunch. Lastly, when it comes to calling out, you want to let your supervisor know in advance for taking days off. It's not like class where you can just skip and not tell your professor. I think it'll be very important to let them know when you're taking days off. You want to follow the vacation and sick time protocol because every company is different with their guidelines and procedures. If you're sick and it's last minute, definitely reach out to your supervisor. Do not constantly call out sick. You want to make sure you're reliable and dependable. And again, the last thing is be reliable. If you have any questions on anything just mentioned in this PowerPoint, in this presentation, you can always reach out to Career Development Center for questions. Zoom hours are being held, they're actually open office hours. They're being held Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 2 to 4 p.m. Last slide here is just our information on topics that we cover if you have any questions on any of them. And you can reach out to us with the email on the bottom, careerdevelopmentcenter@newhaven.edu.